I've watched every major technology shift since the early 2000s. This one feels different, not because the technology is magic, but because the threshold we just crossed changes what a system can do without you. For years, AI was a conversationalist, a very smart search engine. You asked, it answered. You prompted, it drafted. It waited for you to tell it what to do next. That model just died. We're not talking about chatbots anymore. We're talking about systems that act, that plan, that close loops. AI that manages your calendar, runs your home, executes tasks you didn't even ask for yet. The shift from passive to active isn't incremental, it's architectural. I saw this firsthand. My dad's an electrical engineer. He spent years building a smart home, motion sensors, automated lights, integrated climate control. The kind of setup that requires 3 apps and a degree in network architecture just to turn on the kitchen lights. I visited him one weekend. He was furious. The system had stopped responding. Again, I asked him, what if you just sent a message on WhatsApp and it handled everything? He looked at me like I'd suggested witchcraft. But that's the shift. We went from systems you operate, tap this, swipe that, configure the other thing, to systems that operate themselves. You state intent, it figures out the rest. His setup was chaos dressed as automation. Irrigation controllers with seasonal schedules that had to be manually reprogrammed every few months. Networked AC units. Smart lights. Water meters configured to catch billing spikes. Every device lived in its own ecosystem. Different apps, different dashboards, different logins. He wasn't managing a smart home. He was managing a federation of incompatible devices that happened to share the same Wi-Fi network. This is what smart looked like for 15 years. A collection of products that could be automated, but only if you were willing to become a part-time systems integrator. The intelligence wasn't in the system. It was in the person holding it all together. That's the architecture we're leaving behind. When I suggested he just use WhatsApp to control the whole house, he thought I was joking. Not because he's not sharp, the man's an engineer. He'd built the entire system himself. But he was stuck in what I call the pre-agent mental model. The one where AI is a very smart search engine. You ask, it answers. You prompt, it drafts. Then it sits there waiting for you to tell it what to do next. The post-agent model is different. The AI doesn't wait. It acts, it manages, it executes. And trying to explain that to someone who hasn't experienced it is like describing color to someone who's never seen it. Going from it answers my questions to it runs my house isn't a feature upgrade. It's a different operating system. So here's what he did. His dad's system used open protocols. Everything talked in the same language, even if it lived in different apps. That meant an AI agent could hook in directly. He installed something called OpenClaw, open source, runs locally on the PC, no cloud dependency. It plugs straight into WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, whatever messaging app you already use every day. It remembers your instructions. It runs 24/7. And this is the part that breaks people's brains. It can act without being asked. A few months ago, automating a garden schedule like that would have taken weeks of API tinkering and custom scripts. He did it in an hour. His dad now has a personalized Jarvis for his home, except Jarvis doesn't require a billion-dollar mansion or a fictional operating system. It requires WhatsApp and a decent PC. Here's the part that made me pause. 0 lines of code. None. My dad is 64 years old. He's never written a line of code in his life, but with this agent installed, he just sat down at his computer and it walked him through a conversation. What devices do you have? What do you want them to do? How do you want your home to behave? He customized the entire system by talking to it. In plain language, the same way he'd explain it to a person. No configuration files, no YAML, no debugging at 3 in the morning because a semicolon was in the wrong place. He spoke, it built. That's not a better interface. That's a different relationship to technology entirely. Now, here's where the story could have gone very wrong. Because giving an autonomous system control over your physical home isn't a demo. It's a decision that requires boundaries. A few days after the setup, my dad and I had a second conversation. This one wasn't about what the agent could do, it was about what it couldn't. We walked through it together, allow list only. The agent can only touch explicitly approved systems, limited device permissions, absolutely no third-party skills, and 0 access to anything involving payments, passwords, or sensitive accounts. He implemented all of it immediately, which tells you something important. You can have incredible futurist automation and absolute security. They're not in conflict. Most enterprises treat those as opposing forces. They're not. They're just non-negotiable design choices. You want the future? Fine, but you set the perimeter first. Early electricity and early AI. Same mental model gap. This is exactly where we are in the AI revolution today. Think back to the early electricity era. Edison, Tesla, Westinghouse. The grid was real. The technology worked. But people's mental models were dangerously wrong. People touched live wires. Some thought they could use electricity to resurrect the dead. The tech was real. The understanding wasn't there yet. Now look at AI agents. Same pattern. The technology absolutely works. You just watch my dad automate his entire home by talking to it. But most people have no idea what to do with it, or more importantly, how to stay safe around it. I've watched this movie before. The gap between it works and people understand it is where the casualties happen. We're in that gap right now. Hashtag AI safety threshold. The new baseline. So here's where I want people to land. The AI safety threshold. I don't hold an electrical engineering degree, but I definitely know not to stick a fork into a power socket. That knowledge has kept me alive. That's exactly where we need to get people with AI agents. You don't need to become a machine learning expert or a data scientist to use this technology safely. You just need to understand the basic guardrails, the ones we just walked through, so you can start re-architecting how you live and work without electrocuting yourself in the process. The barrier used to be learn to program. Now it's learn to say what you want clearly. Think about that. For decades, the technical versus non-technical divide shaped everything. Careers, org charts, hiring models. If you couldn't code, you couldn't build software. Period. That line just evaporated. And the moment it did, we moved from a world where technical skill meant syntax and terminals to one where it means clarity of intent. The people who thrive won't be the ones who can write Python. They'll be the ones who can describe what they actually need. Most organizations haven't even noticed the threshold moved. The new superpower is clear communication. I watch my dad, an engineer who spent 30 years managing complex systems, sit down and just talk to the AI. Irrigation schedules, C settings, plain sentences, zero jargon. Turns out, people who've run households, raised families, built businesses, already have the exact skill this moment requires. They know how to articulate what they want. And now, plain English is the only programming language you need to automate your life. The people who spent decades learning to code aren't happy about that. I get it. But the threshold moved anyway. What will you ask your agent to do? So here's the only question that matters. What real task will you give your agent today? The hype cycle feels different this time because the technology actually works. And it's improving faster than most people realize. Every day you wait, catching up gets harder. So stop treating AI like a party trick. Stop treating it like a search engine with good manners. Start exactly where you are. Point an agent at a real task. Set your boundaries. Then use plain language to tell it what you need. For 70 years, we bent ourselves into knots, learning to speak the computer's language. Loops, conditionals, syntax errors at midnight. Now it speaks ours. The only question left is what you're going to ask it to do. If you want to be ready when this becomes the baseline, follow for more.